This is about compensating Americans for the lawfare that we saw under the last administration. And by the way, anybody can apply for it. Republicans can apply for it. Democrats can apply for it. As you know, the President of the United States has pardoned a number of Democrats who he felt were actually subject to this lawfare. I mean, if Hunter Biden wants to apply for this particular fund, he is welcome to. It's going to go through a normal process where we vet everything, where we try to identify whether people's claims are actually legitimate. We're not trying to give money to
Hey, hello everybody. I'm sitting there looking on my laptop. Well,
Got the studio set up again.
behind enemy lines. So that's a bit of good. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Everything sounds good.
Yeah, I got a little delay, but that's okay. I'll get used to it. Yeah. So welcome to Behind Enemy Lines. Good news this week with Trump dedicating $1.8 billion. Sounds like a lot of money, right? Sounds like a lot of money for those that were targeted by the Biden administration, the weaponization against the political opponents. And it's not just January 6th, folks. There's many, many, many people that were affected by the Biden administration and the crazy, crazy Democrats with lawfare. Many, and
Yeah.
including Mike Lindell.
Yeah.
I heard Mike today talking his cost of $400 million. So I don't know what Trump's going to give him a chunk of that or what. But we'll see what happens there. But so a lot of people when they hear about the weaponization of the DOJ, they think about the 1,600 people from January 6th, right? And there were
Yeah.
some people that were aggressive with respect to fighting with the police officers. Very, very, very like hardly any, a handful maybe. And then there's some people that say there's justification because they saw them attacking other people and stuff. But let's say the handful uh, were guilty, right? None of them deserve to be in prison for, 4 or 5 years. None of them deserve to sit locked up in the hole without the opportunity to have a speedy trial, right?
Yeah.
So, again, I said this over and over again. I got friends, Rob Waller, my other ATF buddies that were cops talking about in the city of Chicago. They'd be lucky to get somebody arrested for attacking them, right? So these people, even if they were guilty of assaulting a police officer, the government was guilty of violating their rights, of violating their constitutional rights. So I just want people to think about that. And I don't think they're just going to give everybody blanket money and stuff. There's going to be an evaluation process. So we
Yeah.
got the J6 folks. You got me, a different, totally different example. I was at J6 peacefully. I left before people went in to the Capitol regardless of what the Southern Poverty Law Center says, and Jeff Tischhauser, the Antifa associate that wrote those hit pieces against me. Me and my friend Rob Waller, the cop, we left. We did not know people got into the Capitol till I sat down on the sofa at the Marriott and turned on Fox News. I'm like, oh my God, there's people in the Capitol.
Yeah.
But that guy lied. That lying piece of shit said that, and he's referencing the SPLC, and I'm bringing it up for a specific reason. Because SPLC has hearings, well, there was a hearing going on with the SPLC yesterday. I think it was all day, and then they have been charged by the federal government.
Yeah.
And that opens the door because SPLC, for you though, you know that it's very powerful. It's full of attorneys. It's full of leftist, liberal, dark money, right? And so they're very powerful. It's hard to fight them, right? For anyone, let alone nobody. And so now this opens the door, not just for the weaponization of law enforcement, but I'm a perfect example of showing how the Southern Poverty Law Center collaborated with the Biden administration, the Department of Justice from the Biden administration, and then they collaborated with Antifa as their foot soldiers. So Jeff Tischhauser, who's a writer, he calls himself an investigator. A piece of shit's not an investigator. He's not an investigator. They call him it. He's a
Yeah.
reporter, part-time reporter. And so he is a Chicago Antifa associate. And we're going to show that in a few minutes to show just, a little bit to prove that. There's other attorneys I spoke to. And for those of you who know what the Center for Self-Governance is, I went to DC with them in June, met with Mike Lee for 30 minutes. I met with staffers of Holly, Gates, I mean, who's who for 2 days, right? And back then they were looking to revoke the non-profit status from the Southern Poverty Law Center, but it was stopped under the Biden administration. Now it's resurfacing. So that's going to happen. The Southern Poverty Law Center also had an attorney that was in Atlanta during those riots. Remember that, Mike?
Yep.
You got a better memory than me. What was that called? Those riots in Atlanta?
Oh, which ones? The Summer of Love riots, the George Floyd riots, the
No, no. The one I think it was afterwards when they had an encampment.
oh
They had
yeah,
an
yeah, where they went after the police. Yeah, that was Antifa. They had a police training center that was going in, and then they attacked the cops. Um,
Yes. Yeah, yeah, and one of the guys was Antifa that worked for the SPLC. He was with Antifa. He is an attorney for the SPLC. So if you come up here to Chicago, we got Jeff Tischhauser, an Antifa associate. Clearly, he's aligned with them. He does stuff with them at University of Wisconsin. He defends them. He retweets them. They retweet him. He pushes out, emails and contact information for Antifa. The Center for Self Governance has, and I should have put the website up for you, Mike. It's my bad. They have a section dedicated to this piece of shit. So Jeff Tischhauser is attacking people like myself. He came after me in behalf of the Downers Grove Democrats, radical leftists. Downers Grove went down the shithole because Republicans here sucks, and they gave it up to him. And the
yep.
Downers Grove Democrats reached out to this guy. He's from Oak Park and had him come after me. He started FOIAing my kid's school about emails that I sent about objecting to porn in my kid's school. This guy does is not even married, doesn't even have a kid, right? And so he came after me and he wrote a hit piece on me. And Mike, you have the first story. He wrote a hit piece on me specifically to silence me because I'm a big mouth dago. This is the first one. See, there's the white supremacy sign, right? I'm being sarcastic. That's the okay sign. So what he did, this was from Downers Grove. There you go. It's Fogiato Blow. I mean, the guy's a Christian rapper. This is in the story. I'm a precinct captain. Big deal. Act like it's a big deal. It's nothing. You guys know who that is, right?
Prime time,
Alex,
Alex
yeah,
Stein.
Alex Stein, 99. So I mean, that's how desperate this scumbag is. He's got pictures of me with comedians and Christian rappers. This here, he blocked out. This story came out right after the Ukraine war started, and Rodman said he was going to go over and free that Olympic woman that was imprisoned for marijuana. And I found a meme that looks like an inflated, big lip, crazy, goofy, ugly looking Rodman. That's what it represented. It looked just like Rodman. You notice how he took it down, right? It's not even in there
Yeah,
because it was a meme. And then when he wrote in his story that Terry Newsom posted pre-Civil War racist imagery of African Americans, exaggerated looks. So you don't have to exaggerate anything in Dennis Rodman. That son of a bitch is ugly as right. And so that was what it was. It was making fun of Rodman. Said he's going to go talk to Putin and free this woman when the war started. And was exaggerating, making fun of him. He's a creepy, ugly guy. Oh, I lose you, Mike.
no, no, I'm still here. My camera just froze. I was resetting it.
Okay. So this is an example. This is the first hit piece they did on me on November 31st. It's right there. November 31st. Oh, this is the second one. November 31st. Right there. Stop right there. I'm sorry. Just leave it right there. November 31st of 2022, they wrote that big story. And at the time, I didn't know what this is a press release right here. You see in the top left, Mike, it says press. This came
Yeah,
out
yeah.
December 1st, 2022. So I was wondering when the first story came out, I'm like, why is this? It came out of Washington, D.C. So this is showing you how the SPLC works. Now that everything's coming together, we're putting the puzzle work together. They released this out of Washington, D.C. What's in Washington, D.C.? The deep state, right? The deep state. So they wanted to make sure all of the Biden, DOJ, and all the folks in that arena saw Jeff Tischhauser's story of bullshit coming after me and extremist groups and being a Republican committeeman. That was the whole intent, right? So December 1st, we go forward a little bit to December 19th. That's when my family and I went to Charlie Kirk's TPUSA in Phoenix on Amfest. And that's when I found out I was labeled a domestic terrorist. And that would take forever to talk about the story going through TSA and stuff. And my family was taken in the back. My wife, my 15-year-old children, my kids were VIP guests of Charlie Kirk, all expenses paid to go to this event because he's they're funding, they're trying to get high school kids involved. So I found out that I was, quote, a domestic terrorist. Thank God to American Airlines agent that came up to my family. I'm like, what? I didn't know what the hell's going on. He goes, he goes, man, brother. He goes, you're on a list with some real bad people. I'm like, really? He goes, oh yeah. So that's how I found out, right? And I'm like, what the hell? I didn't know what the list was. I didn't know what Quad S is. So if you don't, no one knows what Quad S is. It's supposed to be for terrorists. Sometimes people go through that randomly. It's very rare. They get a Quad S. It's a Quad SSSS. It's all over your ticket, and that's how they identify potential people that need to be watched by the TSA, right? So me,
Yeah.
my children, my wife, were all Quad S, and so I later found out what all that stuff meant and what the ticket agent from American Airlines meant that I was on a list with bad people. After that, there was a number of stories that were in the Epoch Times. I don't know if we have that stuff up. Doesn't matter. A
Let
bunch
me
of
see.
stories. There was a bunch of stories from Epoch Times written up about what happened to me, my family, domestic terrorist watch list, and then that got the attention of Matt Gates. Oh, that's the second SPLC story. We'll get to that on the back end. That's with me and Tom Holman. Um, so Matt Gates saw the Epoch Times stories, and he had his attorney reach out to me in January. I got a text message from a guy named John Wilson. I'm an attorney for Matt Gates. I'd like to talk to you about your situation tomorrow. So I knew that was good news. I didn't know what it meant. So I called him. I'm on the phone with him, and he goes, "Yeah, we saw the story, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "How'd you get my number?" He goes, "I believe we got it from Jim Jordan's office." I'm like, "Yes," you know. So this is in January 2023. So I had my introduction call, told him about everything that was going on with the attorney for Matt Gates. A few weeks later, I get a call from the Epoch Times reporter saying that Congressman Troy Niels saw the story and said, give the reporter his cell phone number and told me to call him. And I called him. He's from Texas and he saw it. And he goes, I'm on the transportation committee. I'm going to reach out to the TSA and find out what the hell's going on. We talked for 20 minutes. The guy's super cool. And I was told by Gates' attorney and some others that they were going to maybe have me speak in front of Congress about the weaponization of the DOJ against parents. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go to Congress, So I told Troy, I said, listen, I go a long time ago. I want to be transparent with them. And most of you guys know I got in trouble 35 years ago. And I said, I just want you guys to be aware in case I go in front of Congress and the Democrats and all their bullshit. And he goes, I don't give a shit what you did 35 years ago. It doesn't matter. I said, I would like to tell you. And he said he didn't care. I was like, I was
Yeah.
happy. It made me feel good. And so my harassment got even worse. The FBI showed up in March of 2023 on my front door and asked me about January 6th. There you go. And you see my first, they said on the left, they said, they asked me about, they knew Antifa was targeting, and this ties into Jeff Tischhauser. Antifa and Jeff Tischhauser and the Hammond brothers, every time I ran a parents event, they would threaten the venue. Mike knows about this. He experienced it as well. They would
Yep.
threaten to shoot up the venue, threaten the managers, harass them until they cancel on us. So when the agents first came up, they said, we know people are coming after your free speech. I'm like, oh, you're here because of Antifa. I'm like, great. He goes, yeah, you know about them? That's 2023, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he pivots. He goes, by the way, we know that you were at January 6th. So you see my hands out there like, all right, hold on a minute. I'm like, this is 2 years after January 6th. And I said, you guys know where everybody was on January 6th. And I left before anybody went in. He goes, yeah, I know. I just got to ask you. So I think they just showed up just trying to, I don't know. I mean, nothing ever happened of it, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it happened what a couple months after the SPLC story. Um, so fast forward again, Matt Gates sent a demand letter I think March 6th, to Garland, Ray, and Mayorkas. And I don't know if I sent that to you. Garland, Ray, and Mayorkas. Oh, that's Troy Niels. Leave that up there. That's fine. Right. Garland, Ray, and Mayorkas. A demand letter, meaning on congressional letterhead, he's demanding to know, why did they do this to me? Is it because he was a vocal school board father? Is it because he was peacefully at January 6th with a million other people? There was like four questions, and they were asking him for a specific reason, not just for me, is what I was told. Oh yeah, are you keeping a list of vocal school board parents? Are you keeping a list of everybody that was in DC on January 6th? So Garland, Ray, and Mayorkas, their offices all accepted the receipt of Matt Gates' congressional letter to him. None of them, to this day, they're not in office, by the way, but obviously over that period of time, and I know John reached out to him, not one of those bastards said, "Oh, yes, this is why we did this to him." Not one of them, because I didn't do anything wrong. So now Troy Neal, sorry, we'll put Troy back up there. Put Troy up there.
You got it.
This is very interesting. So this here shows it. It's probably hard for you guys to read. So when I got this letter, oh, he got a response quicker than Matt did. Wow. Oh yeah, Matt took a while to write his letter. So this was January 27th, 2023, right? And in that letter, if you guys look closely and stuff, you'll see that this guy here, who we got a question, what's his name? Charles Mallings or something like that.
Yeah, let me see if I can make it a little bigger.
Yeah, with the TSA. So this guy goes and responds to Congressman Troy Neal's letter and request, and basically said that I no longer fit the profile of the privilege of TSA pre-check as of December 15th, 2022. So what happened on December 1st of 2022? The SPLC press release in Washington, D.C. What
Yep.
happened after that is Jeff Tischhauser lied. He lied, and I got the text messages, and I don't know if you got them. I threw a lot of shit at Mike. I have the not the text messages. I got the X posts where Jeff Tischhauser post, and then his Antifa friends would tag the FBI. Oh, yeah, just leave that up there. It's a different one. And what he would do was post his story from the SPLC, and then Antifa would tag the FBI office and the Chicago office of the FBI. And Tischhauser said, when we asked Terry Newsom why he tried to overthrow the Capitol, no response. So
Oh,
when he
geez.
said we, and this will be good for a lawsuit, Mike, when he said
Yes.
we, when he lied about we, he never talked to me. He never asked me about overthrowing the Capitol. And I never respond. He lied about that. Then Antifa started tagging them and saying that I tried to overthrow the Capitol. I was an insurrectionist. Then the next thing I popped up on the Sedition Hunters. Leave this up here. I popped up
Yeah.
on the Sedition Hunters website. So this is in 2022. This is before I was on this piece of shit's radar, but I went back, I scrolled through his stuff. Jeff Tischhauser, who's an investigator for the SPLC, why is he telling people to send all concerns and complaints to the main email for Antifa? Antifa foot soldiers. Can someone tell me why somebody that's a reporter, investigator for the SPLC is saying send all your concerns and complaints to Antifa foot soldiers? Why would you do that? And then he copies one of his Antifa Garfield buddies, and that Kelly Rings a Antifa associate. It's a fake account. So I mean, there's other information about this guy. So this guy now it's a domestic terrorist, and it's ironic that this guy works for the SPLC, and he's telling the Chicago Police Department who domestic terrorists are, who are anti-government, who are racist, he works for the SAPLC, who's been funding the KKK and other white supremacist organizations with donor money to try to create this fake narrative of white supremacists and racists at events that they would pay them to go to show up to so they could write a story, and then they write a story, and then they fundraise off of the story of the guys they pay to fund to go to those events.
Dude, there's a breaking story on this right now, too, with the
Yeah.
SPLC. Jim Jordan demands answers after explosive claim January 6th human sources, air quotes, were paid by the SPLC.
Wow. As I hand it off to you later, Mike, I'm gonna send you those pictures that we showed numerous times that didn't make sense that were at January 6th. That guy when the Buffalo guy, remember?
Yep.
Nothing ever happened with that. That guy was absolutely embedded and planted there. I'll send when I hand it off to you and you do a little monologue there. Um, let me wrap this up and I'll let you. So this guy's definitely tied to Antifa, right? FBI showed up to my house. Matt Gates and Troy Neal send letters. In CPAC of 2023, I go to CPAC and my harassment by the TSA is worse. I go through the high level security, then I go to born by plane, and these TSA agents, five of them, come with their little cart to sniff out explosives and undercover air marshals. And before I get on the plane, they pull me off, right? It happened on the way to DC, on the way back.
Yep.
And, I went up to one guy on the way home, yeah, because I was kinda caught off guard on the way to DC. I didn't know they were gonna do that, right?
Yeah.
So on the way home, and then everybody looks at me on the airplane like I'm a fucking terrorist
Yeah. It's supposed to embarrass you. Yeah.
yeah, and so on the way back, I'm sitting there, my sport jacket, and then here they come, and this businessman next to me is like, "What the hell is this about?" I go, "Oh, it's me. I'm a domestic terrorist." I go, "I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding." I had my ticket out. My ticket has Quad S, which I knew what that meant at the time, as I previously explained to you. So I go up to this black TSA agent that's one of the 5, right, with their little bomb sniffing computer. And I said, "Hey, you guys are here for me. There's no reason to put everybody through this." "Sir, step back, sir. Sir, step back, please." I go, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I swear to God, I wish so I got stills. I should have, this is before we did the podcast, right? I would have
Yeah.
been like, "Oh, this is great content." Right.
Yeah.
So I got still shots. And matter of fact, I remember taking the stills. I was all nervous. I was nervous. Can I do this? I would have filmed it, put it right in his face now.
Yeah.
Right. And so then I get on the plane, everyone's looking again. I go, "Listen," I sit in the exit row aisle. I go, "Listen, you guys." I go, "I'm not a terrorist." I go, "I'm one of those people you see on TV that's being targeted. I peacefully attended January 6th, and half the plane would laugh. The other half would be like, asshole. It
Yeah.
was kind of funny. And so after that happened, it never happened again. I had to fly I worked for a big corporate international company, and I'm flying out of Chicago with guys. I'm like, told my wife, I'm like, "Oh my God, they're gonna come to the plane with all." We're flying on the same plane, and it stopped. It suddenly stopped. And that was because of the letters from Matt Gates and Troy Niels. But I still lost my TSA pre-check. Still lost it. So that was June of 2023. I was getting a barrage of harassments, a barrage of attacks by my executives. The Antifa guys, Jeff Tischhauser kept putting out lies, and then they would take his lies and tag the CEO of Paris from my company. They would tag Harvard professors that would do events. I worked for one of the biggest prestigious international consulting firms out of Paris. Believe it or not, I was their top sales guy. And they kept tagging my company, my executives. We had a massive, massive DEI group, which, I was supposed to sell, you know, bullshit, energy, I never sold it, sustainability, DEI. It's like, it's like, and, they pushed it down our throats. I had to take tests and all kinds of stupid shit. So that's how woke they were, right?
Yeah.
And they tagging them. I had an investigation, after this in 2023, by HR, and they called me, and we were still. I work in sales, so I never went to the office in 30 years, right? No matter where I worked. And after COVID, if you guys remember, even the corporations were shut down forever, right?
Mhm.
People work from home. Even though COVID went beyond us, they didn't want to go to the office anymore. So we had 3 floors in downtown Chicago, totally empty, ghost town. I get a call from HR. I get an email from HR, and I get on a call with 2 HR ladies. I'm like, "Oh shit, what's this? What do I do now?" And we have a hotline, and one of these scumbag Antifa scumbags that work with Tischhauser reached out through the anonymous hotline and sent the story in, and then talked about that I hate gay people because I spoke out against porn in my kids' school. And they said they quit the Chicago office of Capgemini because they felt their life was threatened by me. They felt it was unsafe to work for Capgemini because Terry Newsom works there. Here's the SPLC story. And then they said, when we have our pride flag in our cubicles, he would walk up and make fun of us in front of everybody. Well, these scumbags didn't know that there was no, thank God for me, because this liberal leftist would have axed me. But I did win the sales award when I was there 7 times more than anybody in the world, so thank God I had that. And so the women were asking me when I'm on the phone, they're like, "So, Mr. Newsom, when you get off the elevator, what do you see?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They didn't tell me right away. I'm like, "The third floor?" I go to receptionist. "Do you check in?" I go, "What do you guys, what is this about?" And that's when they told me, and we have to ask you these questions. "Did you check in?" I'm like, "No." I don't listen to rules anyway. But I go, "Did you check in? And did you get a cubicle?" I'm like, "No." You didn't register, because we have like registered your seats and stuff. And I said, no, I go, there's nobody there. I go, the only reason I went there is I met guys in a conference room. But if you had to make a phone call or use your laptop privately, did you go and check into a cube? I go, no, I got a whole floor. What am I going to check into a cubicle for? It's like, you know, she goes, so you never checked in? I said, look at the computers. There's no reason to. I'd go to my meeting and I left. I work from home. I don't even want to be in the office.
Yeah.
You know? And so they investigated it, which is just ridiculous. And then obviously I passed. Number one, there was no people in it. I never, oh, they said I made fun of gay people in front of, I mean, it's such, these guys are creeps, right? They're all working together. They're tied in together. We saw evidence that they worked with the government, the DOJ. They came after me because of the SPLC. And that's all coming out now, you guys. It's all coming out. And I'm like the poster child to show how there's collaboration between SPLC, the DOJ, and Antifa. The
And
foot
the
soldiers,
FBI.
right? The foot soldiers. You saw the foot soldiers, right? And they come after us, all of us, and they try to target us, harass us, dox us, go after our job, right? So, so after all this crap, there's lots of stuff that was canceled and stuff since then, right? And then we could fast forward to about a little bit over a year ago. The second SPLC hit piece story came out from this Antifa guy, Jeff Tischhauser. The one me and Tom Holman. You want to put that up?
Yeah, yeah. Sticking on that.
So I hosted. Well, Tom came to Chicago, and then I had. That's the first one. Tom came to Chicago, and I had very senior Democrats and community leaders. So that is me on the left. Tom's in the center, and that's Ray Lopez on the right, Democrat. I had other like senior people. I can't say their names because they and many of them were Democrats. Some represented Hispanic community that wanted Holman to come to Chicago, begging him to come to Chicago, bring ICE in to make the community safe. So Jeff Tischhauser wrote this hit piece on me. There you go. Well, oh, that was when I was walking through the airport, like when they were living there. Yeah, I forgot about. I haven't looked at this thing in ever. I just there's Ben. Oh, I didn't even know Ben was in there. I got to send this to Ben.
Yeah, it looks like he made comments on the trip here. This is X post.
And then what is that there? The
Petition
trust.
for submission of advisory question of public policy on Illinois sanctuary state status.
What post did he put it there? Oh, it was great. Wait, great having interview
Emma
Alderman
Robinson with Alderman Lopez today. Democrats. He reminds me of Democrats my parents used to support. Tom Holman and Trump will be welcomed with open arms when they come to Illinois.
So that right there caused big troubles for Ray Lopez. The guy was great. Me and Ben interviewed him. Big supporter, back and forth on X and Facebook. And these guys use this to go after Alderman Ray Lopez. He's a Democrat, but he's like an old school Democrat, as I said in there. And they went after him aggressively and tried to tie him to me and the Proud Boys. And they're going after him politically, the guy, really, really hard. And because he was with Ben, matter of fact, that picture there from the first picture, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the top one, they made posters of that. It's in Hispanic communities. They put them on. Yes, they're like, matter of fact, when Ben was in Chicago, he's like, "Oh shit, is that your picture?" He's, it was a Bovino with the dildo in his mouth. It looked like me from it looked because he's got thinning hair and stuff. And Ben was like, "Oh my god, we were at the ice center." He's like, "Is that you?" We both parked our cars. I thought my stomach dropped. I thought these whack jobs did it because they put this picture everywhere, right? So after this came out, and a couple, I don't know, not too long after that, I lost my job, and I was told it was not performance related. Well, you're a salesman, and
Yeah,
sales jobs are performance related. And then I said it's because of my politics, isn't it? Because of all the HR stuff. HR lady's like, "Oh no, we love your politics. You fight for the kids." I don't want to say you fucking liar, you know.
pretty
And
much.
yeah, I lost your camera again, Mike. So yeah, I lost my job, and it was thanks to the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Biden administration. So that's why we're talking about this tonight. So I'm going to figure out how I could get in on some of that cha-ching, cha-ching, and
Yeah,
I hope as things evolve, like what Mike just said about the Southern Poverty Law Center now, and in the future that I could go after them for targeting me and my career. And now I'm 64 years old, and I'm tarnished as a racist white supremacist. If you Google search Terry Newsom, guess what? The first things come up: Southern Poverty Law Center. They
Well, I
have
mean,
it.
use that. You've got a case for defamation, if nothing else. You ought to sue. Um, I mean, again, if this were
Like, do your monologue. I'm going to send you these things that tie into the Jim Jordan thing. Go ahead, keep going.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'll just go back to this first. Like this $1.776 billion sounds like a lot of money, but like what you brought up, like Mike Lindell earlier, he's probably 400 million in on this right now. Maybe not that much because it's not all going to be weaponization, but I mean that's his total spend just on fighting election fraud and everything else, and his reputation. And again, like they went after his businesses, his stores, and everything else. But I was talking with another person, one of the other school board dads, Kelly Walker, earlier today, and um, same thing. Like this sounds like a lot of money, but it's going to go fast because there's a lot of people that fought this stuff with millions of dollars or had their reputations or careers or whatever ruined. I mean, I know J6 defendants that spent into the millions fighting their cases, and there's plenty of people like Derek, that he spent 200,000 on his own fighting the case before he had to take a plea deal, but it still affected his life beyond that. He still can't get credit. He's still been debanked. Nobody's done anything to fix that. That's cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars. He can't get back into his old career anymore because he can't get credit with Home Depot, Lowe's, or any other remodeling places. And he used to, flip houses. I know other people too that are, bumped out of their career, literally lost their job. All these damages add up, especially when it's all based on these lies. So this $1.776 billion is going to go fast, and it's not going to nearly cover the losses of everybody. I mean, it's going to end up being a lot more, but even worse, it sounds like the Democrats just blocked the effort for it, and I guess the Republicans just surrendered on it. So I don't know if this is going to go through or not. And we're already hearing that the Thune and these rhino Republicans in the Senate don't want to put this through because they're mad that Trump endorsed Ken Paxton over John Cornyn down in Texas. So now they're going to try to stop his agenda through midterms. So that probably means this fund is not going to come to fruition anyway, unfortunately. But in reality, it needs to be much more than we'll call it $1.8 billion. This probably needs to be at least in the order of five, if not more $1 billion just to cover like the realistic losses, not the other damages that were caused by this. Because you have a lot of big names they went after, but also think about all the other people, all these other small podcast hosts, show hosts like that were pushed off YouTube. Because remember when this lie started, they stripped tons of people off social media. They took their X accounts, their Facebook, they put them in jail there. They demonetized channels. I mean, some of the bigger ones, and you're talking totals in the millions and millions of dollars with some of that stuff. Not to mention, think about people that were thrown off, careers on Fox News and other places. People like Tucker Carlson, they threw him off for talking about election fraud and electioneering after 2020. Same with Lou Dobbs. I mean, he passed away, but same thing. They put him in golden handcuffs, wouldn't let him. We had to wait. We had already had the contract with him at Lindell TV to start, but we had to wait till January 1st because that's when the golden handcuffs from Fox wrapped up. And there's plenty of people, including even smaller people like you and I. We can't get monetized still on YouTube and other places for my show or most of the programs on X American News.
I've been stuck at the same for fucking 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a new update on being tagged and discriminated against. So I had my 401k from Capgemini, right? And I'm transferring it from where it was into a different, and so Fisher, I want you guys to hear this. Fisher Investments. You ever hear of Fisher Investments? They've been around for a long
Oh
time.
yeah.
And they've been bugging me since I was at Capgemini to transfer my
Yeah.
funds to them. Right? And all the time I talk to them. So now that I left Cap and we sold our house, going to figure, hey, what are we going to invest? And finally gave them time, had some phone calls, sent some finances back to them. They had actually old finances from me, and then talked to a very senior vice president, and then we had to fill paperwork out and telling us about the process, and we're going to go forward with them. And they said you got to have over 1 million investments, minimum, and then they're selective on who they work with. So we have a call with the next level guy that's going to manage everything after we filled out all the paperwork. They fucking went dark on us. They haven't responded to either. My wife sent them a number of messages. She tells me I sent them a number of messages, Mike. They don't. I call them.
Yeah.
We had a meeting. The guy canceled the meeting right before we were supposed to have it and said, "I'll get back to you and reschedule." They obviously did a search on me, and I'm going to respond to them. I'm going to bring this up when I go to DC. So I didn't even tell you this, Mike. So I was in DC, and everyone. I think I mentioned that in June of 2023. I'm going back with the Center for Self Governance on June 8th, 9th, and 10th, and I'll be meeting with some folks about this. Booyah! That's going to be good.
Good.
And because last time we met, I told you we met very senior folks. Now it's a different ball game that we have, the Trump administration, and I'm going to do everything to get Mr. Jeff Tischhauser front and center. He took off his LinkedIn profile. Jeff Tischhauser took off SPLC. What about it, tough guy? Used to go around, try to harass myself and my boss and everybody. Why'd you take SPLC off your LinkedIn profile,
It's almost
Mr.
like they did something wrong.
Right? Why'd you do that, you fucking weasel? So, yeah, I'll be out there. And then I got invited to a private screening December 9th at the Trump Kennedy Center, not the Kennedy Trump, the Trump Kennedy Center. I will be there. I've never been there, never wanted to go there, but now that they added Trump to the name, I'm definitely going to go. Looks like you're embedded in something really important there, brother.
I'm getting your photos set up. I just got them all three on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. All right. So, Mike, can you read a little bit about what you heard about Jordan again, so people understand why we got these pictures up there?
Yeah, let me pull that back up. So Jim Jordan, he's just interviewing today. So this is probably based on the investigation into the SPLC or the interrogations that they just had. But he's saying that Jim Jordan demands answers after explosive claim January 6th, human sources may have been paid by the SPLC. So they were paying people that were embedded in the crowd on January 6th. It sounds like.
Look at this guy here. All right, everybody, look at this. Like I had that debate with that scumbag Brian Shapiro. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yep.
showed this. Oh, what is that? It's a guy with a scarf. It's a guy with a scarf, he said. I go, that guy is there through the feds, through Antifa, somebody to agitate. He's yelling in that bullhorn as Jacob Chansley walks by, as everybody was approaching, telling everybody to take pictures. Take pictures. That's at 12:30, before people went into the Capitol. He's by himself. He was so careful how he wrapped himself up. Look at, he's got a hat. He wraps the scarf around his hat. He puts headsets over his ears while he's on a megaphone, which he don't even need them for. You know what I'm saying? This
Yeah.
guy knows exactly what he's doing. We can't see the color of his hair, his eyes, his hands are covered.
Well, I mean, this is the real thing. The FBI and CIA and other government entities have already admitted to having people in the crowds there. But the ones you really want to worry about were Antifa and others. And it looks like they may have been paid through the SPLC to show up there. I mean, we've interviewed people that had pictures of guys changing out of Black Bloc into Trump clothing, pro-Trump clothing, and we're sure that those were Antifa. Derek and I talked to, man, I wish I could remember who it was, but he had pictures too of them all getting out of a little minibus there on January 6th, then changing clothes to look like Trump supporters, and then going out into the crowd. So these are the kind of people that the SPLC was most likely funding there, and I'm sure that was in cooperation with the FBI and other federal law enforcement that wanted to create a narrative at January 6th.
And they did. I mean,
Yes, they did.
Credit for that. They really, really did. So, I mean, yeah, I'm excited. This is all coming together. But what I'm a little discouraged about is how many arrests have there been made? Like,
None.
so I'll say, okay, right?
Yeah. Dude, it's pathetic.
It's
Even with the SPLC, like these criminal charges with them don't have anything to do with funding, funding Nazis and white supremacists like they were doing with at least $3 million. It's all bank fraud. and crimes like that, financial crimes. They were trying to hide that they were doing this. But yeah, so far nobody's been arrested. They're not going to get their door kicked in at 6 a.m. and frog marched out like you would if you're a conservative, if you're Roger Stone or Peter Navarro. They're not going to do that to any of them. If anything happens, they'll be allowed to self-surrender. It'll be quiet. There won't be any. CNN certainly won't be there to film it. But also, it sounds like with this fund, now the rhinos are holding that hostage. It looks like the Senate just went home without passing it, and it sounds like the rhinos in the House cut a deal with the Democrats not to fund us.
Yeah, well, it's going to be back up when they come back. So I talked to Mark Herr from the Center for Self Governance before we had the. I tried to get him on the show. Maybe that's where you thought that when we were talking.
That could be, yeah.
I try. So he's the guy I'm going back out to DC with. And then he said it's just delayed, and he's pretty well politically astute, Mike. So
Yeah.
when they come back, wherever their break, they're going to come back, and it wasn't axed. It was just they didn't bring it up.
Okay. Well, I guess Tim Burchett's also out there. So he's saying some backroom deal was cut. Fury after spineless GOP cuts backroom deal to let Democrats run the show. This town is crooked as a dog's leg, and I'm disgusted.
It is. It really is. I want to read something that. So you guys probably heard the leftists go nuts about paying the insurrectionists, people that beat up police officers, right? We talked about it a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah.
All right, let me talk about some key facts on 2020. Thank you, Grok AI. Grok says, estimate this is at city levels and stuff, right? Estimated cities settled over 130 lawsuits in 2020 with payouts totaling 150 million. These people were outright guilty, man, of more violence, right? And it's going up higher because there's more lawsuits that are going on. Number of recipients. This is just for New York. 3,000 people. Philadelphia. I'm sorry. I'm jumping around here. Sorry. Philadelphia. 343 plaintiffs. 9.25 million. Denver. 14 million. Other cities, Seattle, 10 million. Portland, Austin, Minneapolis. They don't know how much that was. And others. Protesters, rioters involved millions of participants. 15 to 26 million. Wow. 14,000 arrests. Most protests were peaceful. Oh my God. Right. This is, these are taxpayer funded civil settlements resolving lawsuits against police departments, not federal payments to rioters, which I don't even know what that is. This is stuff I did right at the last minute, right? So now these leftist scumbags are complaining about what Trump is trying to do. This is the exact same thing, but except there's a big difference, right? Between what happened to these J6ers. They were locked up with they didn't have rights of speedy trial. They were locked up in the hole. They were they were overcharged. And then they were forced to, that scumbag Brian Shapiro said, "Oh, I got evidence. There was 1,600 insurrectionists. They all pled guilty." To Mike's point, people had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Dude.
Right?
Brandon Strauch spent $4 million fighting it. And then finally, he basically just had to give up and take a plea deal. And I know plenty of others. Derek didn't want to either, but he spent $200,000. He'd already taken out a second mortgage on his house. They couldn't spend any more money. He had to take a deal.
Yeah. So people don't get discouraged by the bullshit the left says, right? If they're saying payoff by Trump, man, we love Trump regardless of this.
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, the double standard should be obvious. Antifa gets payouts from the federal government and from cities all the time when they riot. They'll go afterwards and say, "Oh, the police were too mean. They overcharged them and arrest." And these people get slaps on the wrist. I mean, unless you literally are throwing a Molotov cocktail at police, like those two attorneys in New York did, you get no jail time. You burn down a police the other guy that burned down the police. It wasn't. What was it, like a neighborhood whatever building in Portland? Same thing. He got 6 months in jail. It was arson. He should be getting 10 years. Not to mention everybody's lives are in jeopardy. That should have been multiple accounts of attempted murder and everything else. They get treated with kid gloves, and if you're on the right, they throw the book at you and then some. I mean, literally, look what just happened to Michael Castellero. They gave him 10 years, and they added another year because he was talking to the media.
Yeah, right. A year for using his First Amendment rights of not agreeing with the charges from the federal government, right? I mean, he has the right, even if he's wrong, he has the right to say that. But they're going to punish him. How dare you say you don't agree with?
And it's not like he had a gag order. It's not like they can say, oh, well, he violated a gag order. That's why we gave him the extra year. I mean, I would still disagree with that considering the verdict's already in, so there's no reason for a gag order. But it's literally nothing. No gag order. He can go out and say whatever he wants. He can, you know, anything sort of making a threat to the judge, he could have gone out there and said, and there should be no repercussions for that. But they gave him an extra year in jail. I mean, they're setting him up to have this overturned, which that's good. But he's got to report in September. I mean, it's just a tragedy.
Yes. I want to talk about an event that we got going on here. Keep talking there, brother.
All right, I'm trying to look into more with where the stuff's headed with this fund to compensate all the victims. Because like we were saying earlier, it isn't just the January 6th victims. It's not just the school board parents or the people that were arrested using the FACE Act that were protesting abortion. I think this extends well beyond that because it's also the victims from Arctic frost. There's a lot of people that were spied on that still don't even know because they haven't released all the files. We know of 2 additional programs that were going on under the Biden regime where they were spying on elected officials and activists and journalists and other people. So, I mean, the 1.776 billion is not nearly enough to cover everybody that was wrapped up in this, because there's a lot of people that are unknown that are not they're not protesters. They're not people who go out and talk to the media. There's somebody there at their local town that had their life ruined because they bothered to, show up at a city council meeting or a school board.
Right.
This is going to expand. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, like for us, just locally here to me, right? That SPLC story. Everyone, I don't know if you have the patch by you patches. They're local, Mike. You have patches.
No, I
It's
don't think so.
like network all over the place, right? They have for like Darien down there. Every city has one, right? And then
Okay.
people got writers in certain like districts, and then with the mostly leftists. So this leftist scumbag Giuliani reposted the Southern Poverty Law Center locally to everybody in my neighborhood. White supremacists. So it
Yeah.
affects my family. I don't give a shit about what people think about me, my children. I lost my job because of them. And this
Yeah.
happened to so many different people, and then your reputation because of these scumbags lying is affected. And then
Well, we know the SPLC was literally working with the Biden regime. Well, actually, they're checking right now to see if there was communication back and forth to coordinate with the SPLC. I haven't seen if they found anything yet, but I did see that's something that they're looking into right now because this was coordinated. Again, that would be government overreach. If they're directing the SPLC what to do, who to target, who to go after, who's a problem for them, if there was coordination with that, then this expands even further and even more people are wrapped up in it.
yeah,
But I mean, all of you guys should be suing the pants off the SPLC right now. Especially again, these are unfounded lies that cost you your job, it did reputational harm, and it can't be allowed to stand. We got to hit them right now while their pants are down too. This is an entity that needs crushed permanently and bankrupted, so they no longer have that tool at their disposal to sling mud at people, destroy reputations, cost people their jobs, and to essentially strong arm and blackmail businesses into donating to them and adopting their programs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I know we're a little early here. Any other
I,
interesting facts or tidbits, Mike? I know you did shows all day.
it's been a busy day. I don't see any other updates here. I'm waiting to see what else Tim Burchett's talking about this backroom deal cut, because that sounds like it's not good. And otherwise, the only thing we got is they did arrest one of these Somali fraudsters up in Minnesota. I guess he tried to jump off a balcony to get away from him, but he stole
Oh,
90 million.
is that why he was limping when I saw the little clips on Fox News?
Probably. I guess he jumped off. I'd jump off a balcony too if I'd stolen $90 million.
Wow. Wow. It's kind of embarrassing that like a Somali illiterate slug inbred is able
Yeah.
to do that so easily, right?
I mean, that's part of the problem. Like here in Ohio, they're looking into this more. Before they'd found $4 billion worth of Somali fraud here in Ohio. Now they're saying it's going to be upwards of 8 to 10 billion, and that's just in Columbus. I mean, it's unreal.
Well, folks, I got the studio working again. I got to get some guests in here. I got to start getting some more guests now that I'm getting my head screwed on a little bit straight here. And I got good news coming up, but we can't really talk about it, folks. I do have good news, and I got my scumbags watching me right now.
That's
You know who
right.
you are. You know who you are. This is to you. It's to you right there, baby. Not mentioning anybody names, but you know who you are. This is for you.
Right. We're going to
All
mention
right.
some names in a few more weeks.
Yeah, we will. We will. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
All right.
everybody. Go ahead, Mike. Close it out.
You got it. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. Please like, share, and subscribe. Help us to grow so we can bring more people the news the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear. We'll be back on Tuesday with